Joining me on the show today, Colonel Jim Warsuck, military analyst and a regular contributor to both our radio and television products. He's here to discuss the threat of ISIL. Of course, we don't know what to call them, ISIL, ISIS, or Islamic State. We'll get into that as well with them. Also, the latest beheadings and what it means to the average American. Should we take them seriously at this point, huh? Also, Dr. Beverly Jackson. She's a mental health counselor and author and will help us understand why the NFL is under such scrutiny right now and what can be done with players who are charged with violent acts. I guess the question everybody's asking is, has the NFL fumbled their own game? And just as the season starts, nonetheless, huh? And also J.V. Crum, a very interesting man. I had him on our national radio show about a month or two ago here. And he's a best-selling author of the new book, Conscious Millionaire, Grow Your Business by Making a Difference. It's what a lot of us want to do when we get into business to begin with, huh? He talks about how each of us can have a successful career, make the ching-ching we're looking for, and still make an impact in society.
Get involved, get loud, and think on the brink.
Well, what is going on with the NFL? You know, just as the season starts and heats up, we're seeing and hearing all kinds of issues and problems with players and just all kinds of things are going on here. Welcome back again. It's good to have you. It's Malcolm Out Loud. I want to bring right with you here Dr. Beverly Jackson. I had her on our national radio program a couple of months back, I think. Had a lot of fun with her. She was just super well-informed and a great spirit. And so I asked her to come back on. Here she is today. We're going to talk about this a little bit. Let me tell you a little bit about her first. She's president of DrBev Mental Health Counseling. She's an author, okay, psychotherapist. I like the way she puts this, to real people with regular lives doing regular things and experiencing real-time drama, trauma, and chaos in their life. And I don't know about you folks, but that's me. So it's good to have you.
Nice to meet you again, yes.
So first time I met you other than on radio.
Yes.
So it's good to have you here. So thanks for joining me here. Well, let's talk about this and break it down a little bit about what's happening here, because I think there are a lot of sides to discuss on this issue, okay? Not just one. And sometimes the media just puts out one viewpoint because they hop on the wheel here and, you know, everybody just goes down that road. So, all right. All right, it starts off with the big firestorm really came with this Ray Rice thing, okay? Of course, Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice, who punched his wife in the face in the elevator. And it looked like, from what you could see in the visuals, that he let her have it, okay? Now, there was talk that maybe she spit on him and maybe she did. I don't know what she did or what happened before this. There's been a lot of psychoanalysts about that actual crime and what took place, as well as when Roger Goodell got the video or didn't get the video. And I'm so over that part of the story. It's like, you know, we're trying to now hang the NFL, basically, is what it is. So, but he knocked her unconscious and dragged her out of the elevator, which didn't come across too well on social media and stuff. Didn't look too good, did it?
You think it didn't look too good. Now, I don't know who this person was, said that she spit on him or whatever, but I finally got a chance to see the entire video. Now, check this out. Here's a woman standing there, beautiful, with her little tiny purse. He says something to her. She goes back like, okay, let's just stop it. And when she does, I just see her go boom down. Now, one commentator I heard said that what happened was Ray Rice kissed her so passionately that she just just like that. Now, believe that. So now the next thing I see is Ray Rice.
It's a hell of a kiss.
That's a heck of a kiss. I don't want one of those. But anyway, Ray Rice now has her little purse. She is laying like slap on the elevator, just flat on the floor, face down.
Right.
He pushes her like as in get up.
Right.
Now, I've been working in domestic violence for too many years. This is what a predator does. Get up. She doesn't get up. He goes to take her shoe, which is out of the elevator, and then he picks her up. He slings her over
like a piece of meat.
like a bag of trash.
Yeah.
But yet she marries him the following
I don't get that. See, now that's my point. That's my point. Now, I don't get that, Dr. Bev.
Well, now,
nobody was talking about that.
Let's get this. Let's take this NFL to another thing, okay? It's all about money.
Right.
Okay, I know she put out the little thing on Twitter, you know, it's just helping the ratings and da-da-da. She's probably a little ticked. Why are all these other wives who are getting beaten, kicked and abused, raped in their own home by other NFL players, excuse me, Nobody knows about them because they weren't caught on camera. We were.
Great point. Great point.
Okay, and for
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
women who have been in that kind of violence, that situation, she's doing what women do, abusers do. She is trying to save face, save her family, save
Wow.
what? Save his
Wow.
career. Look,
Wow.
she's been with this guy since she was a teenager.
Wow, wow.
Come on.
I just, on the radio program, I talked about it, and I said, listen, in fact, I wait a minute. I used the adjective that actually somebody didn't like, and they called me on it. And I said, now, how stupid is she? And they didn't like the fact I called her stupid. But the fact that she married him, of course, maybe it was the wrong adjective. But anyways, the fact is, I didn't understand.
I'm going to stop you there and say, and you know what, Malcolm?
Yes.
Out loud, I'm going to agree with you.
Wow.
And I'm going to put the word STUPID
So you
on
agree?
my forehead. Now, I'm not saying
The nice Dr. Bev, who never sees any bad in anything, agrees.
I don't know about that one. Now, I am real, I am raw, this is me, this is what it is. But the stupidity part of it is, here was an opportunity. Rather than to let this go on in her life, she could be saving other women's lives and their children as well.
That's right.
So
That's a
let's
great
look
point.
at that.
Great
Let's
point.
look at the educational moment. This is a woman who has a degree. She is educated. Let's help. And they have a baby girl.
Right.
So if he did this to her, what is
right,
going to happen
right, which
to
we'll
the
talk
child?
about that as well.
So are you stupid? I'm going to have
Did
to
they have the
say,
baby before or after? I don't even know.
the baby, thank goodness, was born before.
Before,
But
I didn't
think
even know.
about
Okay.
this. This happened on this elevator. It seems so natural. I can tell you, as a person who have worked with domestic violence victims,
Right.
oh, this was not the first knockdown.
Well, that's
drag
what I
out.
wonder.
Come on,
That's what I
now.
wonder.
Really? Okay, you don't go from a slap
Right,
to a, to the.
I mean, that's
the
a hell of a
Bentley word
knockout.
instead of the other B word. You don't go from that to boom. But
right.
wait a minute. This is the NFL. This is a football player. He is built. That testosterone is there for aggression.
Right, right. Well, which I want to discuss. Let me now bring it forward to all right, let's educate everybody here a moment, because these are things I'm learning as you're all learning, but here we are. All right, so we had Ray Rice. Then we see the Carolina Panther Greg Hardy was just found guilty just this last week of assaulting his former girlfriend and threatening to kill her. And the Panthers were so nervous about the PR that they placed, Greg Hardy on the inactive list for this last week's home opener against the Detroit Lions. And then the San Francisco 49ers, being aware of the Panthers' decision to deactivate Hardy, they still planned on playing defensive tackle Ray McDonald, but he was arrested on suspicion of domestic violence on August 31st against the Bears, and ESPN came out with that story. And all of this follows, by the way, the Vikings' decision to deactivate running back Adrian Peterson. Now, this one's getting a little bit of heat here, after he was charged with reckless or negligent injury to a child. And a warrant was issued just this past week for his arrest in a grand jury in Texas. And I'm sure you must have heard this one, because he's being accused of child abuse now, of beating the child with a switch and a stick. And
let's connect the dots. We just connected the dots with Ray Rice. They have a brand new baby here, and then the next day after he's indicted. Yes, it does go further than that. If you have that in you, that kind of violence, that kind of aggression, that kind of anger, it's not going to just stop at your wife or your girlfriend. It's going to go down to, but because it was a child, okay, they raised a flag. But for Rice, until they saw that it wasn't enough that he punched her, or rather kissed her so passionately, that it was a big deal. It wasn't until they said they saw the whole video with him dragging her out. But wait a minute, look at all of these others that you just called. But I have another one for you. NFL, okay, fine. What about Petraeus? He just got out for what? He shot his girlfriend through the bathroom door 4 times. The only difference is we didn't have a video.
Oscar Pistorius, you're talking about? Yeah, we talked about that.
We didn't have a video. But
Right.
see, when you get a video,
Right.
when you get something
Right.
that they can't sweep under the rug,
Right.
now we have to do something about
You
it.
know, we did the National Out Loud Minute with that Oscar Pistorius case, not to get sidetracked here, but and so, you know, we talk about what happened, and the judge let him out with murder. Now he's on sort of a,
Little mini vacation.
Yeah, well, he's going to be sentenced mid next month, and it'll be minimal, whatever he gets, or nothing. The judge hasn't ruled yet.
Probation.
And it could be either or. They don't know yet. Obviously, this fame comes into it to some degree. They get away with more than they should, obviously. But can you imagine, just not to sidetrack, you guys followed that case, Oscar Pistorius, the Blade Runner, the Olympics.
Yeah.
So he gets, so imagine you're home in bed, okay? Imagine you're home in bed, and your wife, your lady, your gal, whoever she is, sleeping on the side of you. You know this. You wake up in the middle of the night. She's not there. You hear a little sound in the bathroom. So, yeah, I think the average person pulls out a gun and fires right into the bathroom. I wouldn't think twice of it, would you?
I would think that if you are narcissistic, a control freak, you reached over and she wasn't there and you told her to stay there, what would you do?
Wow.
Then you got to think like this perpetrator here.
Wow.
It starts out with a little shove, a little push, a little, instead of calling it I won't call it the B word, I'll just call it Bentley. And it starts from there and then it progresses. It never degresses unless that person gets some help. But who's going to help the NFL? Who's going to help all these players, the stars? Who's going to help them? Because we want to keep that all under wraps. We want to keep that under the rug. Not unless it gets caught on tape. And then, oh, dang, we would have had him in the game this week. He would have been playing. I mean, come on now.
Well, I was just trying to look up the NFL. I just heard in the last day or so the list of arrest within each team. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I didn't know that.
Well,
I did not know.
Did any of us know?
I didn't know.
Because that just doesn't get out.
Yeah.
It stays, and guess what? See, when we talked about stupid earlier, and again, forgive me, Janae, this is nothing personal towards you at all. But I just want to say again, this is an opportunity for those women of the NFL to get together and speak out about this subject. This is an opportunity for the NFL to put their players in some real programs. Now, Rice wasn't, all he had from the judge was do probation, take your anger management class, in a year, you're done. They keep him on the team, he keep making money, and that's fine. Now, let's just connect the dot. Here's Janae, the victim. The next day after he gets his warrant or whatever, where he goes and he has to go to court and they tell him that. The very next day, she marries him.
Right. It was the next day?
The next day,
I didn't even know
they
that.
got married.
Yeah.
And they were teenagers, sweethearts.
Right.
She has been with him through his whole career. What does she get upset about? She says, you guys are in our lives. You've messed up his finances. You messed up all of that.
Yeah.
Now what do they have?
Right.
Well, Janae, maybe this is an opportunity for you to turn this around and not be the victim and speak up and help the other NFL women speak up on this subject.
All right, the NFL as a whole, here we have a sport that is a sport, obviously, that is a very aggressive sport. There's no question. In fact, one of the big stories in the news and the headlines these days is brain injuries. That's a big story right now, that over a third, 3 in 4 out of 10 serious brain injuries in their life. That's some pretty big numbers that they even know and track. And but anyways, very aggressive game. And we all love football. We all love sports. I'm not saying we don't like it. We love it. Yeah. So and we pay for this. We're the spectators instead of. But let's bring it to the NFL a moment. There's a lot of scrutiny on the NFL, and let's be clear on something here. I want to understand everybody know the NFL is a business, and I'm not going to hide that point of fact. And I'm not trying to. They're a business, as any business should be. Yes. And you want to put your best product on the field. You want to do your best. I get that. As a coach, as an owner, as a league, or whatever it is, you want quality players. But yet, part of the story I was hearing the last day or so, they're bringing a lot of precarious players into the league that have, this is what I understand. I did not know this, but a lot of arrest records and things so it sounds to me like the NFL is going to have to clean up their business a little bit, I think.
Well,
Dr. Bev.
isn't that so good? They'll finally have to sweep things up from under the rug. I guess we might have to call Stanley Steamer. I'm sorry, that wasn't a plug for you, Stanley, but I'm just saying.
Right.
We're going to have to bring it up from under the rug.
Right.
So, yeah, all of a sudden now we're seeing police records and someone hurting their child and this and excuse me, it's been going on for years, for years.
But it's hitting a high pitch right now.
Well, of course, because this is a business, as you said. And if it was my business, I would protect it too. I would be being proactive at this point. If I was the NFL, I would have hired me a long time ago. Look, be proactive. Let's set up some programs. Let's set up some groups. Let's do
So
this,
are they
let's do
doing
that.
anything like that? Do you know?
Well,
I don't know.
they haven't quite put it out yet, but I'm sure we're going to have a white paper on it real soon that says, here's a list of all the things we're going to do and all the things we're changing, because we're now seeing all those arrest records that we didn't know about.
They're being scrutinized
now. The charges that we didn't know about. So, of course, if it's your business to keep it and to make that kind of money. I don't know if you see the commercials on the NFL. That's big money.
It is huge money.
Okay, look.
Well, Commissioner Goodell, Roger Goodell, is now under a lot of pressure, a lot of heat. In fact, there's talk for him to step down, and they want to remove him, whatever. And you know what's funny is there's talk about Condoleezza Rice being the new. Did you see that?
Come on now,
oh no, there is a lot of talk about her being the new commissioner. There's a lot of movement behind her. Evidently, there was talk a while back that she said she'd love to have that job or something. I don't know, but
okay. Well, you know what? In that case,
maybe she'd be good for it.
Condoleezza, maybe you and I can talk about that, okay? Because I think we're gonna leave that one alone. Let's just out loud that one.
She probably can't do any worse than Roger Goodell. But anyway,
But why blame? But hold on, why blame him?
Well, and I'm not.
Here's a guy stepping in to what already was that has been going on for years and years and years. He's doing what they call norm.
And that's
they
fair.
Have normalized,
and that's fair.
They have normalized domestic violence with their players, and that it's okay.
Yeah, and that's fair. I appreciate you saying that, because there have been a lot of people after Rogers' neck just to be after Rogers' neck, just because they want somebody to do that.
They want somebody in the
And I'm not one of those cats.
Me neither.
Yeah, so that's
fine.
fine. I'm glad you said that.
Keep your job. You're in it. You know what's happening. You're in the thick of it. Here is an opportunity.
Okay.
This is a huge opportunity, a blessed opportunity
For the NFL, you mean?
For the NFL to turn this around and teach children. Think about all the young boys. That's what do they want to play? I want to be a football player. I want to be able to hear the crowds. Here is an opportunity to even start
to clean house. You're saying
to clean it up all the way
down.
Let's start at Pop Warner.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Warner, okay?
That would be.
Yes, my son played there for many years. Start there.
Yeah,
okay. But let's go all the way up the chain.
So you're talking about cleaning the whole league now. That's fascinating.
Clean up house.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And if this guy could stay in his job and do what he does, give him an opportunity.
Well, at that point,
I say give him an opportunity.
In order to do this, what you're suggesting, you'd have to have a come to Jesus meeting real quickly.
Well, and it won't be with Condoleezza Rice either, but I'm just saying, I'm Dr. Bev.
Whoever it is. And again, I don't think that, I'm with you. I don't know that it's, again, sports is big business. This is a game. This is a business game. This is, it's huge. I get it. And you want the best league, best product. But again, back to your saying, what I love about you and what you talk about, and this is a lesson for everybody, listen to this here today, because, sometimes you can take the worst stuff in life and things that happen, instead of being a victim all the time, too many victims out there, really though, and turn something positive in your life that you can do something with that. So you're talking about using that as an example, like you said with Janae, the wife now of Rice, do something with it. So the point is, if you don't do something, you have an endless line of this stuff. It just goes on forever.
It'll go on forever. So rather than taking all these players who we already, at least the league already knew, they had records, they had this, they had that. Now, what are we going to do? Kick all of them out?
Right.
What are we going to do? We're going to go to every industry. So if I work for Malcolm in the Middle and you found out that, I knocked my husband out and hit him over the head and then dragged him out of an elevator, are you going to fire me tomorrow? Do I not have a job?
Right.
Okay. It's only my first offense that I was caught at.
Right, that's right, that's right. But so you have some interesting points, and you're saying that if someone's doing this kind of thing, it's habitual. They're probably doing other points of their life. I haven't heard that a lot about Rice yet. I haven't heard that Ray Rice, whether that's happened. I mean, have you heard a lot of other?
Okay,
I haven't.
there is no NFL player that's going to come out and this is a business, as you say. So you know what? This isn't the first time I knocked her out cold. Well, it's been several other times.
Maybe they're just not on videotape, as you're saying,
and they're not on videotape. So what am I going to say? I'm going to come out and tell you, oh, I've done more? No. If I want to do something, he's going to try to get it.
And that's what he said. And that's what he said. Very isolated incident. He didn't know. Very uncharacteristic of himself, he said.
And he pled non-guilty.
Right.
Dude, please.
Right. Well, hold on now. Hold on. To be corrected, you already said it was a big fat kiss, you said.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was so passionate. She just fiends it
so,
like that.
Knocked her on her, you know what.
Yes,
so that's it.
Boy,
Dr. Bev Jackson. We'll take a quick break here. Let me give you your website. It's DrBevMentalHealth.com. DrBevMentalHealth.com. DrBev mentalhealth.com. She's got a whole lot on there and a whole lot to say, as you can see. Her books, her conversation. I love her where she comes in. And you're very practical with your thinking, too.
I'm a Gestalt psychotherapist. I'm a reality psychotherapist.
Yeah, but some of them are lunatics. See, you're not a lunatic.
I'm not here to psychotherapize you. I'm here to make you save you some time, pain, and emotional suffering.
Yeah. Well, one of the conversations I had with you on national radio a couple months back, anyways, was the desensitization of society, where we're at now as a society, and it really falls into a great segue from this conversation on the NFL and what we're talking about, because what's acceptable now and what's not acceptable now, that's what I want to talk about ahead with you. We'll be right back with Dr. Bev in just a few moments. Malcolm out loud.
All right.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Hey, we're back with you here with Dr. Bev Jackson, and we're talking about the desensitization of society. We just spoke about the NFL and what's happening with a lot of these arrest records and crimes and things of this nature, and I love her advice on that. But I think we bring it forward here now and talk about where we're at as a whole in society. It always seems to me that, I don't know, it seems to me like there's a lot more that seems to be acceptable today. It could be just me, I don't know, with the kids and all. And I mean, listen, all right. And I know people will get upset with me for this when it comes to, like, I'm not a big fan of a lot of aggressive movies for the kids. I'm just not. It's just call me a prune, call me whatever you want. And I don't really find them that entertaining myself. I don't come out of a theater and say, oh, that felt great, man. You know, they all died with blood and guts. I'll give you an example. Just like watching, like, these programs, CSI New York and, Law and Order Istanbul or whatever the hell they call themselves, I don't get into that stuff. Rape, murder, mayhem, and I know there are people in my family and others who love that stuff. They can't get enough of it. They're like fixated. I gotta get home and watch that on Thursday. I gotta watch this thing. But why is that entertainment? To see somebody slugged over the head, raped and dragged through the alley, how does that become entertainment? And where am I in all this? Am I the screwball?
Well, you are a screwball, but you're not the only screwball. There are a whole lot of us out here, and I'm one included in that. Because I'm like you. I don't want my grandchildren looking at all this blood, guts, and glory. We have enough of that out there in the regular world for them to see. They don't even have to turn on the news. They can just walk out in any American street, and you can see it right there. So, but for the Rice gentleman here, a football player.
Ray Rice.
Ray Rice. The day that this came out, a reporter, female reporter, went to the football stadium, and she is just interviewing random people.
Okay.
Here comes a guy. He's got his wife. He's got his daughter there, and she says, well, how do you feel about this, sir? How does it feel to you? He's got a wife and a daughter, and he says, I don't know what the big deal is about the video. I mean, can we just let it go and let the guy play? Like what? And for a moment, I just like watched the television and went, This is your wife and this is your child, and you have now normalized. What have you said to your daughter? It is okay for you to have a boyfriend that just knocks you out, calls you names, slaps you, push you. We've made it so normal that it's just dwindled down to teenagers. It's even dwindled down to your elementary school.
We've made it that way in society, Dr.
Yes.
Bev. Back to elementary school. Listen, if you take elementary school, you take junior high school, you take high school, you take college, you take professional sports, okay? All right. We let them get away with a lot more than they should get away with. Let's face it. And quite frankly, it comes back to a lot of the days where, you know, you had players that were not really being reprimanded. They were because they were a good player. They had athletic ability, or they were brutal, whatever it was. They got, and you know, we've seen this in society. We've understood it in society. We've seen movies about it in society, and it has become somewhat acceptable. So back to the folks, and you hit on a phenomenal point. Can you imagine, guys, you're walking into, you're right, in a stadium, you're with your family, and you're put that question, and they're so hot on how that football game is going to do today, and they're so hot on their favorite player that almost everything, including rape, mayhem, and murder, and punching someone in the kisser and laying them, is acceptable.
Until you get it on video, and then you see how brutal it is. It is. This guy, I wouldn't want to be tapped on the shoulder by him because I think I'd fall backwards. To be snug like that. But to make it seem like, well, you know,
minimize it.
It was just so minimal. It was nothing. It wasn't until we saw the whole video where he takes her shoes, pushes her, he drags her
through the element,
and now those same people, like the gentleman that I just talked about with his wife and his daughter, saying, well, you know, maybe that's a little bit too unacceptable. He went a little bit too far.
You think, huh?
You think?
Right.
You think?
And that is a problem. I mean, you know, where is all of the ethics in this, and what is it? So back to that desensitization now, to stay on this, and, you know, with kids. And again, listen, I am no prude here. I mean, listen, I love to have fun with the kids, and I'm the next one to raise hell and have a great time and what have you, but there are limits to what I will or won't do.
Boundaries.
Okay, there are limits. The definite boundaries in my world, okay? Yes. I want nobody hurt. You understand? I'm not interested in that program. And I'm not interested in physical or verbal abuse, you know, these kinds of things. I call it negative energy, negative karma. I want to get far away from that as I can, you see? Always have.
I'm with you on
Always
that.
have.
I don't want to bring any more karma onto myself than I have already went through and worked through my own psychotherapy, okay? Now, listen, we're talking about not just normalizing this, but taking it back to kindergarten. I was working in a school just probably a couple months ago.
Right.
And then the little girls, this is like a 4th, 5th grade class, and they go, oh, this is my girlfriend, this is my boyfriend, and they're out on the playground. And guess what they're doing? Well, oh, if I like that girl, I just go pull her hair or push her down.
Nice.
And then
that's a sign of affection, ain't it?
That's a sign of affection. But think about that thought process as those two grow up. It's now acceptable for the girl to be pushed or shoved or called a name, and then for the boy to do the shoving, and then they grow up. But how many of these young boys want to make millions and billions of dollars? Look, if I was a male, I might want to go to the NFL, but I went in my pink stilettos and they told me no.
Yeah,
the
stilettos go through the field. That's the problem. You know? Listen, with the kids, I have an 11 and 12-year-old, and I'm always telling the 11, the boy and the girl. The girl's the older one, and I'm always telling them, you know, you do not hit, you do not bite, you do not like that, you know. And you know the thing is, and especially with young women, again, call me whatever, but you know, I'm interested in having not just for the brother, not just for the brother, but for anybody, you know, having the kids go through self-defense and karate classes, things. But I want them to defend themselves.
Of course.
You know, in today's world. I'm sorry. Against anybody.
Why are you sorry?
I don't care who it is. Right.
Why are you sorry about that?
Yeah.
Parents, please teach your children how to protect yourself.
Especially young girls.
I have worked in an all-male maximum security prison. When yes, I have.
Wow.
When I had a prisoner tell me, there is evil in this world.
That's right.
Teach your children how to protect themselves. Educate them that the devil does not have two horns. It looks just just
That's
like
right.
me
That's
and
a
you.
great point.
Watch out. I want them to take karate, anything else that they can do as early as possible to defend themselves and to become more educated.
All right, so the million-dollar question I have for you with all of this, okay? Why are young people today turning toward violent games, violent movies? Why are they doing? What does this fulfill in their life? What's the attraction? I mean, video games, movies.
Well, that's what you get rich for. That's what you get paid for. That's what you. If it's sex, violence. I mean, blood, gore, that's what you get paid for.
They want to pick up on Minecraft, an automatic weapon, and blow them all away.
But hold on. Excuse me, who buys the games for the kids?
Right.
Who buys those kinds of things?
Right.
So now, if
Right.
I know you would never give that to your children.
Right.
You would never give your children one.
I don't like it.
But
Yeah.
if you,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
but if you did,
Yeah.
just you're telling them, you're normalizing it for them.
Exactly.
The shooting
Exactly.
games, the hitting games,
Listen.
you've made it normalized, and you bought it
See,
for
but
them.
now but Dr. Bev, here's the problem. The digital world has done that, and let me say this:
True.
Grown up, I'm telling you, grown up, my little one. Again, I'm a funny one, and you can all, I'm sure you'll email me and tell me I'm, really though, and that's, I know that. But no, and I am not, I am very much out there, and, but listen, my little one's grown up. I don't never liked, and never had, and I don't like toy guns. I don't have them in the house. Well, hold on. I don't have them in the house.
I agree.
Never had them in the house. Don't want the kids to have them. I don't care if they're 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I'm not interested in toy. I just, there's no purpose they serve to me for the children. I'm sorry. And I know there are others who would argue with me all day long, and a lot of my friends who have them at 7 years old with a real automatic weapon out in a shooting range somewhere.
Here I
shooting everybody.
But
that's just not my bag. It's not my bag.
Say, I'm on your show and I'm saying, hey, I got to cut in on you. You know what? Sorry for what?
Right.
Sorry for being real.
Right.
Sorry for being true. My son is 38 years old. Do you understand me? He has never had a toy gun.
Right.
Not in my house. I am not going to promote what I don't advocate. I don't advocate violence.
Right.
I'm not going to promote that.
Right.
So when all the other little kids had their little guns,
Right.
and he, well, Mommy,
Right.
I want one. Well, you
Right.
know what? That is not what you're going
That's
to
exactly.
have.
I was on the same boat, same deal. Okay, but now here's where I want to turn on the curve for you now. All right, so they're into digital games. Okay. All right. I mean, these kids they're computer aficionados. I mean,
Yes, they
they'll
are.
run wheels around UI and everybody else. I mean, they know, eyes, hands, coordination, the whole bit. Okay. So he's in Minecraft. They're all in Minecraft. I mean, this is a whole world
This
they're
is
in.
a
They're
big
done.
thing.
And they have set up profiles for me to go in. I try. I don't have the time. They have another one, Roblox. They set up a profile last week for me. Give me a password, name it. Dad, please come in, begging me yesterday to come play with them in Roblox. Now I had such a schedule, I couldn't find the time, which is a bad, But they're so into this digital world. Now in the digital world, let me tell you what, guns are aplenty. And bombs and grenades and head slashes and everything else. I mean, there are plenty. What are you going to do with that? What do you do?
What do? You take care of you and your family and hope that your child will educate the next child.
Yeah.
You know what? They don't have to do Minecraft. Not on your computer. You know what? They may be a computer aficionados, but you can get someone to come in your house and block all of that. You can protect. It is up to us as parents to protect our children as much as we can when they are children.
See, now I have a bit of a little problem with for me. Now again, back to that balance. I don't want to take away the things they really like and enjoy. And I know they enjoy those computer games and Minecraft, and I've allowed them to have that. You understand? But within a reason of telling them, and the little one knows I don't like the violence. I said, why do you have to do that? I will say to him that. And again, here's another example. There's so much on the computer that isn't funny. Okay. It's ridiculous.
No, it's not funny.
It's not funny. It's sick. And so I'll give you an example. Over the weekend, I made them shut the computers down, put off to the side, don't want to hear the computers, and I had him read a book from the Saturday night into all Sunday. He read a book, and then he says to me, and it was a great book, and I tested him going through the book that he was reading the book, and he was. And it's because I looked, okay, cool, man, cool. So then I said, well, this is great extra credit. I said, well, we don't, but I said, could you do me a little book report? So I said, what's the book about? So he stands up and he starts to tell me about the book, and he gives me a great, like he was in front of the class, he was into the book, he got it, right? And I said, can you give me a book report? Well, Dad, but we don't, the teacher doesn't need that. I said, but I need it. you know? And he says, but it's, I said, well, you can get extra credit or something. Who knows? But they don't want that because you want to do the report, right
Yeah,
down. I said, I want the report. Let's go write it all down. So he did. Give me the report. But that's a balance again. That's tough love.
Well, it's tough love, and he could have given a PowerPoint presentation on the book for all I care, just as long as he read it. But going back to Minecraft, now, part of Minecraft, from what I know of it, and from what the children have shown me, because the game, it just goes too fast for me. But there's a part of a Minecraft where you can build trees and that kind of stuff, and you have to put the DNA in it and all that kind of stuff. That I find very, very interesting.
Yeah.
It was only when I got a teenager
Yeah.
who had moved past the little stuff and he built his worlds and all that kind of stuff that I then found out that then violence could be introduced.
Oh,
in the game.
Are you kidding me?
Didn't know that.
Are you
from
kidding
the
me?
little
They sent
kids.
arsonists in to burn your village down on Minecraft. I mean, they got people burn the village down. They got other people shooting in the next neighborhood. I mean, listen. And then the kids are crying at the end of the day because someone burnt the village down. All the work they did. I said, oh,
And then they have to be.
With it, man.
So there again is another way. That's a brilliant thought, Malcolm. By the way, brilliant you are. That we are normalizing this and making it so regular, so real that it becomes every day, and that concerns me so much.
It's too much.
For the thought
Too
process.
much. It
for
is.
We're talking about in this day and age of mental health. It's coming on earlier and earlier, and you know what? It's coming on with teenagers earlier and earlier.
It
and
is.
I do
It's too
believe
much.
because of this digital age and the normalization of if the football player can do it and get away with it as long as nobody saw it, it wasn't a video.
Listen,
okay, fine.
I don't mind them having fun, and I understand there's a gun that shows up here. I get it, okay? I get it. And I'm not, but you know what? It's understanding. And here's the problem to everybody. Too many people have a very difficult time drawing a line between reality and the far out. They don't know where there's a line. They don't know, Dr. Bev.
Please, that's why I always say, people
the imaginary world.
The imaginary world. People say, well, do crazy people come to you? I said, crazy people don't come to a psychotherapist because they don't know they're crazy.
Of course not.
And a narcissist, angry person with anger management issues like Ray Rice, do you think that he was going to come out and say, I think I have a little anger issue, Malcolm. Can you help me with that?
Right.
No, that's not going to happen. If we start, when we are teaching our children by buying these games, by telling them, well, no, as long as you do this part, but I don't want you on the violent part, and then what do? They go over to their friend's house and they get to play the game over there. We have to stop all of that.
So here's what I do.
There's not a balance. It's a sure boundary. And the word is called N-O, not K-N-O, but N-O.
That's it. It's just N-O versus no. Got it. But I'll tell you what. The balance that I do with the Minecraft and this kind of stuff is, do you know what? First of all, I have them enlisted in Christian school. Okay, number one. Number two, films this year. There are an amazing group of Christian films out this year. Son of God, Noah, Heaven is for Real, Exodus, Mary, Mother of Christ. There's more Christian films this past year than ever before.
Wonderful.
And I've taken them to many of them, so they get a balance of all of this. You understand? So, and they're not taking out a gun with a manger there. I got news for you. They didn't have the gun there. The wise men didn't bring them. Now they got the wise asses do bring them. How's that?
That's going to be a whole nother show that we can talk about, because I have something to say about that.
Well, but there is that, that whole balance. So this whole desensitization of society, I think, is a real problem. And I'm speaking truthful with everybody. I'm talking about today the mass criminals that are doing the mass killings that are going into the schools and the movie theaters. These are people who you say, well, I didn't know little Johnny was that way. My God, I'm their neighbor, and they seem very normal to me. Well, no kidding.
That happens every time we see one of these domestic violence things. A policeman. Yeah. He's been on the force 20 years, 30 years. He's about to retire.
Right.
But,
goes off the deep end.
Just before he shoots his wife in the head. That happened just a few years ago. What happens? Every neighbor on the block, I never knew.
No,
him
never
like
knew.
He seemed
Right.
like
You always hear
such
that.
a nice,
You always
quiet
hear
guy.
that. But you know, people don't advertise. They're crazy.
But what did they
Right?
hear from what did they hear from the teenager? Oh, he was beating up mom every day. If she didn't have that
They hit it.
that
They hit
dinner
it.
on the table,
They hit it.
he would take the plate and he would throw it.
Yeah.
So the children knew, but the children, just as we were talking earlier, the children were taught
Right.
and desensitized to this. It was the norm in their family. They didn't know any different until the day this man shot their mother and killed her.
Well, they hide it. Again, I always say, you know, lunatics don't really always show who they are or what they are. They hide it real well. And when you hear about the things I've had to report on national radio, whether it's these movie theater killings or elementary school killings or whatever it is, there's always something, and there's copycats out there and others. But again, and I know everybody will argue this, and I've got a lot of good friends that that are good friends who will say to me, I'm wrong in my thinking, that they say to me, and you correct me as our last thought, but they're saying to me that, Malcolm, violent video games and violent movies and violent this and violent that have no factor in what they are today, that you are just dreaming this stuff up. It doesn't really happen that way.
Well, if you're dreaming it up, we must be walking in the same dream. Let's just give a high five on that, because I'm going to dream the same thing. So because you know what? No, violence, this, that, no, it doesn't belong in our world. And it is up to us to do something about it and stop letting it be normal. What do we think the next generation, if this is what it looks like and this is normal, can we see where we're going to take this? You know, we see where we're going to take this. And I understand you have your children in Christian schools and they're going to see the movies and that kind of thing. But what about the other kids that they have to, they're around?
They're an influence.
They can be an influencer to educate and say, you know what? Yes, I'm over at your house, but my dad says that part of the game is a boundary. It is a no for me.
And listen,
that's it.
Hey, and final point, I talk about it all the time on this platform. Negative energy breeds negative energy. Positive energy brings positive energy. The people we're hanging with are a factor of who we are in our lifetime.
There you go.
And so I want to hang around as many Dr. Bevs as I can. So Dr. Bev, Beverly Jackson, you're dynamite. The website again is DrBevMentalHealth.com, DrBev Mentalhealth.com. You'll see it there on the screenshot. And thank you. You're just beautiful. You have some great stuff to say on the NFL. I really appreciate it very much.
Thank you for having me.
And it's great to get a perspective. She was dynamite on the radio program as well. It's good to have her here with us. So it's Malcolm Out Loud. Remember, get involved and get plenty loud.